Good morning, everyone. Mid-Murray Council would like to acknowledge and pay respect to the traditional custodians of the land, the Ngadjuri, Naywong, Mangaraku, Narkat, Ngarrindjeri and Peramake peoples of the Mid-Murray lands and waters. It is upon their ancestral lands and waters that the Mid-Murray Council meets and operates. The Council pays respect to elders past and present and their spiritual beliefs that are of continuing importance to those First Nations peoples of today. Council further acknowledges the contributions and important role that First Nations people continue to play within the community, and we extend that respect to any peoples in attendance here today. I'll just read out some emergency procedures. Should there be a fire or other emergency, the alarm will sound and you'll be asked to follow the directions of Council staff. Council meetings are live streamed through the Mid-Murray Council website. Attendance and participation in council meeting does not provide any councillors, council employees or members of the public protection from defamation in relation to behaviour or statements made. Individual opinions or statements made during council meetings are not the opinions or statements of council. A copy of today's agenda is available on council's website. Members are reminded if they intend to move, second, speak or ask a question during the meeting, they need to clearly indicate their intention to speak by using the microphone system. It's important that members use their microphones appropriately so that those at home can hear clearly. Members are reminded that the use of mobile phones during the meeting is not permitted, and I ask you to turn your phones off or to silent. Welcome those in the public gallery. It's so good to see you. I just ask you to observe the meeting in respectful silence as the chamber deliberates on matters that relate to Mid-Murray Council. Council meetings are formal meetings that are subject to specific meeting procedures. This means there are designated sections of the meetings, like deputations, where members of the public can directly interact in the meeting, with the remainder of the meeting only providing the public with an opportunity to listen to the meeting procedures in an observer role. And welcome Laura, who is attending online to help us with our governance. Just before I start the meeting today, I wish to acknowledge the passing of former councillor Peter Smith, OAN. Peter contributed to this council and our community through his service. He was never afraid to speak his mind or advocate strongly for what he believed in. On behalf of council, we offer condolences to his family and friends. I was sad to hear of his passing. Attendance today is everyone that's here. Apologies, we have apologies from Councillor Jeff Barber and also Councillor Mandy Toczek-McPeak. And on leave we have none. Confirmation of minutes. The minutes of the ordinary council meeting held on 21st of October be taken as read and confirmed. We have a mover, Councillor Schultz, Councillor Davis. Thank you. Does anybody wish to speak or have any comments on that? If not, we'll put that motion up. All those in favour and against, that is carried. Declaration of interest. Just go around the room. No. I have a general conflict of interest in item Northern Areas 12.4, just because I'm a candidate for Hammond in the state election for Labor and we're writing to the government, but I'll stay in the room because I don't see a huge conflict there. Business adjourned is a nil. Deputations. We have Senior Constable First Class Sarah Lee Chester from SAPOL to make a deputation regarding the community consultation on public CCTV in the Mid-Murray Council area. Thank you. We'll just get you to sit at the end of the table and Clive will help you turn your microphone on.
Good morning, everybody. I am Sarah Chester, the Senior Constable Victim Contact Officer with Murray Mallee CIB, stationed at now Madden Police Station. My role covers the Murraylands and the Riverland. So thank you for allowing me to speak to you today. I'm also a resident of Manham and lived in Manham since 99. Today I would like to present with you a synopsis of 3 historic investigations, which I hope are of some significance to the members of the Mid-Murray community, those who live and work within the Mid-Murray Council area. My intention today is to highlight the importance of CCTV footage in modern policing investigations and subsequent prosecutions, therefore to substantiate the need for the Mid-Murray Council to either retain, maintain, upgrade and or eventually replace the Mid-Murray Council CCTV systems that are existing in Mannum and the wider Mid-Murray Council area. My first example is on the 6th of November in 2018, Mannum took a report from a complainant that graffiti had been marked on a stone pillar, and this was down on a property near Zoltrans Road near Mount Pleasant. A registration number had been obtained of the vehicle, which had broken down nearby, and there was a remote possibility it was associated with the offender of this matter. There'd been a graffiti spree in Randall Street, Mannum, the day prior, and that offender's image had been captured on the Mid-Murray Council CCTV system in Randall Street at Mannum. The graffiti tag used in Mannum matched that was used in Mount Pleasant. Mannum Police compared that CCTV footage and the image, compared it to police systems and determined the identity of the offender. The vehicle used in Mount Pleasant was registered to the offender's girlfriend, and the offender was listed on our systems as an associate of his girlfriend. Mannum Police attended the offender's address in Adelaide and arrested the offender. He had video footage and still images of himself committing reasonably serious traffic offences. That's how stupid our offenders can be. The offender was charged with marking graffiti and a variety of traffic offences, all because of the Mid-Murray Council CCTV footage and the offender's own image, which was the evidence of the matter. Another example, 4 o'clock, 13th of April 25, vehicle located on fire, Shearer's car park in Mannum. This was observed by a witness who rang CFS. CFS attended, extinguished the vehicle fire. Front number plate differed to the rear number plate on the vehicle, and the fire was determined deliberately lit. Vehicle entirely burnt out, valued about 10 grand. Local police suspected the vehicle was an active stolen vehicle. Mannum Police reviewed the Mid-Murray Council's CCTV footage, and the suspect was captured on numerous CCTV camera locations within Randall Street in Mannum. Clearly identified the suspect carrying a jerry can of fuel and later depicted the vehicle on fire at the car park. 2:30 a.m. on that same day, about 2 hours prior to the arson, the offender attended his ex-girlfriend's house in Mannum, and this is where it gets scary. Offender repeatedly rang the doorbell and yelled out. His ex-girlfriend and her mother were inside in fear, had barricaded themselves into the bedroom of their home. They each had infant children, one being that of the offender. He kicked the door in. He went inside the address, stole a set of car keys and house keys. When he was inside, he was heard to say, "I'll smash this house and burn it down." And that's in the words used by the offender, by the way. The offender left the address. The occupants of the address fortunately could smell petrol. Found the ex-girlfriend's car had been doused by that same offender. Short time later, he returned to the house and gave his ex-girlfriend's mother the keys back he'd earlier stolen. located by neighbours passed out in the driveway of their address. He was subsequently arrested for breaking into that house, property damage, arson, a multitude of theft and unlawful possession offences. And he had in his possession at the time of the arrest the registration papers from the burnt out vehicle. So again, that CCTV footage was instrumental in detecting that offender. My last example, and I'll try not to bore you guys to tears, but this is a murder. 2015, 26th of August. Victim, Jodie Myers, was murdered by her partner by means of strangulation. Her body was later buried under a concrete slab in the rear yard of the offender's home address, which was nearby Central Lane. The offender's mother was also found guilty of assisting the offender in attempting to conceal the offender's involvement in the murder, disposing of evidence, discouraging witnesses to cooperate with police, and encouraging witnesses to assist in disposing of evidence in the matter. The offender, of course, was thankfully found guilty. Several vital aspects of corroborative evidence in this murder and the offences committed by the mother of the offender were proved to be from the Mid-Murray Council CCTV. Absolutely invaluable CCTV. And another from the Bunnings in Murray Bridge. I believe that the documentary has been forwarded. In that, if you wish, I could fast forward to certain points in that footage. However, what needs to be considered as vital evidence in this matter, which comes from that truly criminal missing in man in the case of Jodie Myers. CCTV Randall Street footage outside the Manor News Agency. It was of Neil Archer's green Ford sedan heading north down the street. CCTV of Randall Street Manor outside the Bank SA ATM. And again, withdrawing money from the deceased Jodie Myers account, the mother, Margaret Archer, doing so whilst Neil Archer kept lookout. Another part of CCTV footage was inside the Manor News Agency, where Margaret Archer purchased a $10 mobile phone credit and then sent SMSs to Jodie Myers' family pretending to be Jodie. Another piece of crucial footage was Margaret and Neil Archer in the car sending that footage. Again, CCTV from Randall Street Manor, Neil Archer's car heading south. All of that, Mid-Murray Council CCTV, absolutely vital in the proof of that matter. And the Bunnings CCTV, Margaret Archer purchasing the 600 kilos of cement, which they used to create the cement slab over her shallow grave in the tool shed of Margaret Archer's rental house in Murray Park. I personally was involved in that case. I've been a copper for 35 odd years and in varying different roles. I dealt with the family of Jodie Myers. I know personally how important being able to prosecute successfully Neil Archer and his mother was to that family. I respectfully ask all of the Murray councillors, please reflect upon these cases I've highlighted to you today prior to making any decisions about reviewing the public CCTV. And thank you for giving me your time today.
It's just questions, I think. Maybe.
Oh,
thank
Just
you
one
so
second.
I
much.
wasn't anticipating it.
Just one
No,
question.
Sorry.
So,
Thank you so much. That was very informative, and I'm sure council will think of that when a decision does come to council. I guess I have a question in that, does the SA Police or the SA government assist with CCTV in any areas, or is it always left up to councils to provide that service?
In short, generally no. It is left up to councils, and in this day of modern technology, I'm a bit old school, not completely techno, I'm savvy, but no guru. We are finding that all other councils have CCTV everywhere they can afford, obviously. Most shops are having their own CCTV. There are a couple of issues I'm personally aware about in the main street of Manning. By the way, I did invite Swan Reach and Morgan to come and present from their own perspective today, but unfortunately they've been too busy. They're running one-man shows, you know, and so forth, so they're not here today. So I can only talk on my own experience. There are definite, you know, areas on that main street in Manning that are not covered by CCTV. I personally have been dealing with a victim of indecent assault, and the CCTV did not capture out front of that particular shop because of a bit of a bull-nosed veranda and a bit of a, you know, a dead spot in footage, and other subsequent offending by people, and possibly that same offender. I'm using CCTV footage for that all the time, and up the main street and businesses and so forth. Yeah. So in short, no, SAPOL doesn't pay for that. I don't know if the council can make submissions to government, whether there was any funding or what have you. I'm really not familiar with any of that. Yeah.
Do you find, like, obviously Manning has CCTV, but we've got 16 towns.
Yes, I know.
Like, are you finding that there needs to be more? Like, this is where it's a bit of an issue for a potentially unsustainable council. And also staff time. We only have 90 staff. Murray Bridge has, I think, 250 odd staff for half the area and double the ratepayers.
Yeah.
So we are very constrained. We will advocate very strongly. We're good at that. And I was wondering also if SA Police would help us advocate to the government to get assistance if it comes to that.
I am not at that pay grade to really the answer. I have been a sergeant, I've been up and down for different jobs, but I could approach my boss, who's the head of the regional CIB, and ask some questions, but I don't know the answer to that one.
We'll get staff to follow that up before.
But I personally, I mean, predominantly, my speciality is victimology, criminology, also an ex-prosecutor of a decade, so I know the law pretty well, and if I don't, there's something wrong with me. But my job also has a crime prevention element that I can tap into if the time is permitting, because I work with all of the victims right through and so the Riverland, and I'm a one-woman show. I can get quite busy, but you know, I could speak to, you know, see what the answer might be as to whether I could assist in some way.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Does anyone else have any questions? What I might get people to do is reflect and maybe send questions through to Ben if you think you might want them within the report, so that Ben can get answers before the report comes back to council. Thank you so much for your attendance today.
and we need to distribute that video.
Yes,
So, or
yeah.
I can
You
edit
all
it.
have a look at it?
We all watched it last night. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.
Okay, petitions is nil. 9.1. The recommendation is the monthly financial report, October 2025, on the council agenda of 18th of November be received. Do we have a mover? Thank you, councillor Myers. Seconder. Thank you, councillor Schultz. Do you wish to speak on that, councillor Myers?
No, other than the great report.
Yes, thank you, councillor Schultz.
No comment.
Fine. Anybody else wish to speak or have questions? If not, we'll put that motion up. All those in favour and against, that is carried. Thank you. 9.2, The recommendation is the audit management report for 24-25. Report on the council agenda of 18th November be received. We have a mover. Councillor McGregor, thank you. Councillor Warhurst, thank you. Councillor McGregor, do you wish to speak? No. Councillor Warhurst, no. Anybody else wish to speak or have questions? Feedback, Councillor Hammond?
Yes. Sorry, I'm just quickly getting up my Word documents. I wrote them down this time, so I'm more organised. Great report, as always. I just had a question in regards to, we were just talking about safe hole stuff. So it's interesting, this is one of the questions I had in regards to the things that were happening with the river safety meeting with safe hole, the potential for a live stream camera to be placed along the river to monitor river activity. This was,
Sorry, this is the audit management report.
I'm at the one too far ahead. Next one. No questions.
Flight was just going,
I'm like,
what has this got to do with finance?
I'm looking at the infrastructure report.
Any
I
other,
was looking forward to your response.
What do you think about that? You think it's financially viable?
any other questions on the audit management report? If not, we'll put that motion up. All those in favour? Against, that is carried. 9.3, audit annual financial statements, and the recommendation is that the report be received. Do we have a mover for that? Councillor Schultz, thank you. A seconder. Councillor Davis, thank you. Councillor Schultz, do you wish to speak?
No.
Councillor Davis, no. Anybody else wish to speak or have questions? If not, we'll put that motion up. All those in favour? Against, that is carried. Thank you. I just will add, I was very pleased. You know, council have moved forward so far, and our financial statements are looking amazing. And thank you to Clive and his team and Ben and the whole team for such great results. 9.4. The recommendation is the budget review September 2025 report incorporating the 24-25 results on the council agenda be received. The September 25 budget review with a net operating deficit of 1.937 million and a revised total load borrowings at the end of the year of 5.081 million, being a decrease of 3.448 million from the original budget be adopted, and the 25-26 annual budget be amended to reflect these variances. Do we have a mover for that? Thank you, Councillor Myers, and a seconder. Thank you, Councillor Schultz. Councillor Myers, you wish to speak on that?
No, I'm fine, thanks.
Excellent. Councillor Schultz.
I do have a question. So that's all right. On page 98 of attachment 3, number 2630345, the RM Gen Op expenses. In the detail, it says 12K savings on public liability and $3 on DFIF maintenance. Shouldn't that be 3K? Because in the table, there's 14,931. And 12K and $3 doesn't equal.
Yeah, that would be
Right.
No,
Would pick up. You should have been a teacher, Ross. Any other questions, comments, feedback? No one wishes to speak? If not, we'll put that motion up. All those in favour and against, that is carried. And that's what happens when you have an $8 million surplus one year. You do have a bit of a deficit the next week and you carry things forward. 9.5. The recommendation is the amended register of fees and charges, cemetery burial fees report on the council agenda be received and pursuant to section 188 of the Local Government Act 1999, council's fees and charges register as amended and presented in the update of fees and charges, cemetery burial fees be adopted by council. We have a mover. Thank you, Councillor McGregor, and a seconder. Councillor Hammond, thank you. Councillor McGregor, do you wish to speak?
No.
No. Councillor Hammond, no. Anybody else to speak or have questions, comments, feedback? If not, we'll put that motion up. All those in favour and against, that is carried. Now, 10.1.
Sorry.
Recommendation is the INFS summary report on the council agenda be received, and Councillor Hammond is moving that. Have we a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Warhurst. Councillor Hammond, do you wish to speak on that?
I just have a couple of questions. Sorry about that. I just didn't do the cross. I don't know what, been away a couple of months, so whatever. Dave, love to hear it. Great report as always. about the SAPOL, basically the live stream camera that's going to be placed along the River Murray to monitor river activity. I think it's a great idea, obviously, for, you know, the injury prevention and hoon activity that we often see in summer. My question is, when do we expect to see maybe that camera, and where and what locations are we contemplating for it? A bit more info.
Through the chair, excuse me, through the chair, it is only a temporary placement from DIT. They've used it down at the Outer Harbour, have used it at a lot of other sites. So what they're looking at doing is promoting safe water activity through the River Murray, and they're looking at doing a launch potentially from the pageant onwards, from the Mount pageant onwards, and having setting it up in that little area. And what that does is live stream for a period of time, so that the SAPOL and also marine safety can actually just monitor it. It'll only be there for probably a 4 to 6 week period, just to pick up on any river activities that may be occurring in the river.
4 to 6 weeks starting from, do you know what date?
Pageant, it's the pageant.
Oh, the pageant, sorry, the pageant, did you say that? Sorry, the pageant, okay, great.
Through the chair, basically what they're looking at doing is launching through Surf Life Saving SA and SAPOL coordinators, looking at river safety and obviously swimming within the river, and obviously the boat conflict with swimmers. So they were looking at launching it the week after, but we asked them if they wanted to come and promote something in the pageant.
Yeah.
So we put them in contact with the Mountain Progress Association as well, so that they could actually then promote that as a stall in Main Street. So that was the plan from the last working group. So hopefully that's going to go ahead.
That's awesome.
That sounds fabulous. Thank you,
That's
Dave.
good.
Anybody else wish to speak? Yes, councillor Wardley.
Hopefully just an easy one for you, Dave. On page 128, the Bowhill TV line. What are we doing there?
Through the chair, there's some inquiries that there was no reception of a couple of properties.
Yeah.
So we did some investigation at some of the pits, couldn't find where there was any damage or any disturbed soil. So what we had to do was actually then relay the line between pit to pit. We actually found there was another pit further along, so we were able to replace the line. Couldn't find where it was severed or where it was damaged. So unfortunately, someone must have excavated through that area sometime, probably through the flood remediation, but yeah, we had to replace the line to reinstate the TVs.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions or anyone wish to speak on this item?
One more comment. I can close out.
You
with
can
my move.
close it, yeah.
Great, I love that. The last thing I just want to say to you, Dave, is I know the Tunkillo community are going to be really happy to learn that both Harrogate Road and Blackheath Road are in your proposals for resheeting. I know it's caused a lot of trouble, that road, for the bus route and things like that for the school bus. So a lot of the community there is going to be loving you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, we'll put that item to vote. All those in favour? Against, that is carried. Thank you. 10.2. The recommendation is the Morgan Community Projects Update Report on the council agenda be received. Council undertake public consultation with the Morgan and surrounding community on the following projects in accordance with council's public consultation policy and developed engagement plan: skate park pump track, maybe, Pendle's Key Rooms upgrade, PS Canali restoration works, town signage review and upgrade, dog park and toilets at the Morgan Institute. As part of the consultation, it is to be communicated that as a result of the evaluation and assessment of the proposed projects, the Pendle's Tea Room upgrade and town signage review and upgrade are the preferred two projects to be progressed further. A further report be presented to council following public consultation for it to consider community feedback regarding project funding allocations. Do we have a mover for that? Councillor Myers, thank you. Second, Councillor Hammond, thank you. Councillor Myers, do you wish to speak on this?
Yes, I do. Wanting to know whether the MCDTA, the Morgan Progress, in other words, they are wondering whether they can pay for the Pendle's Tea Room upgrade, but getting their own contractors rather than council getting contractors and the price is double, triple. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
Through Mayor Bailey, we would encourage them to write to council if that was what they were thinking. And then we would obviously consider that proposal and then come back to council. Yeah, there's been examples where we've used external parties have used contractors as long as they are compliant and we're happy with the work that's going to be produced. That's something we could definitely consider, Councillor Miles.
All right, I'll pass that back.
Thank you. Who's second? Councillor Hammond, do you wish to speak on this? No. Does anybody else wish to speak or have questions, comments or feedback? If not, we'll put that motion up. All those in favour? And against, that is carried. And I welcome the letter from the MCDTR. They're a great community group and it'd be great to get a few things done if they're able to.
Don't hold your breath, they're very slow at writing to us.
Okay, 10.3. The recommendation is the water delivery station fees and charges report on the council agenda be received. Council adopt water delivery station fees and charges for the new automated system as follows. Swipe card purchase resident, $20. Swipe card purchase non-resident, $50. Replacement swipe card, $50. And water per kilolitre, $6. Council's fees and charges register to be updated to reflect these costs. Do we have a mover? Councillor Hammond and Councillor Schultz is seconding that. Do you wish to speak, Councillor Hammond? No. Councillor Schultz?
Yeah, I'll just say there'll be a lot of, less unhappy people with the proposed $6 a kilolitre cost. And possibly, could a information sheet be put out sooner rather than later for the people that are going to use these swipe cards so that they've got time to get their head around the issue?
Through Mayor Bailey, so there's an engagement plan being progressed and there will be fact sheets and information communicated both through directly. So those people that are using the water, we're putting some signage up. Dave will correct me if I'm not accurate, at all of the stations. So we are preparing all of that information and we'll make sure we communicate it. I've forgotten what your first comment was.
There's $6.
$6. Yeah. So I suppose the other considerations, we need some data as well. And we're hopeful that could come down in the future, subject to water use. Obviously, we want to make sure that we're covering our costs. We're not here to make money out of this service. Another service that we provide, when the state government doesn't, or SA Water should. But we want to, we felt that $6 was fair in the first instance, and then we'll consider that once we have some more data and usage and implementation.
Thanks, Ben. Does anybody else wish to speak? Comment? Councillor Hammond and Councillor McGregor?
Well, you go first because I moved.
Oh, thank you.
Just through the mayor, I just wanted some clarification though, that they'll have the option of the swipe card or a QR code. So if they didn't have a swipe card, they can just use the QR code. Is that correct?
Through the chair, there's two options, obviously the swipe card or the QR code. Generally, the QR code might be for the and we don't get a lot of them where there's the grey nomads might want to come through and fill up their RV dump points. But we also have RV dump points which provides that service. So the QR codes, basically, if an intermittent person pulls up, doesn't have a swipe card, and they can actually use it from that point. There is a merchandise price which we've sort of tried to cover off on all this, so that we do get payback. But we're encouraging the swipe card process.
For casual users.
Yeah.
Anyone else wish to speak before Councillor Hammond closes off? Go for it.
Just my one last question is because we see photos of them and all of that. When do we think we'll start to install? Did it say what in the report? I wasn't 100% sure if it said there. This is the fees.
Yeah, early
They will answer, but I think the report said early new year.
Early new year, okay.
We've taken delivery. They're actually with the plumber that's going to install them now. So the containers at Mount Pleasant with the plumber that's being engaged by the supplier. We've asked them to hold off on all installations until January, because in case we had issues over Christmas and whatever, at least we got the status quo. So then, and we've gone through a public consultation process and set up. So they're aiming to probably start second, third week of January.
Okay.
Thank you. Any further questions?
Oh, can't be.
Or questions you can still.
Oh.
No further questions. We will put that motion up. All those in favour? And against, that is carried. Thank you. And I also was pleased to see the water drop, and I really hope we can drop it even further when this is in process. 10.4. The recommendation is the draft stormwater drainage asset management plan report revision on the council agenda be received and that council adopts the draft stormwater drainage asset management plan version 2. Do we have a mover? Councillor Myers, thank you. A seconder? Councillor McGregor, thank you. Councillor Myers, do you wish to speak?
No, all right.
Thank you. Councillor McGregor.
Yeah, just through the mayor, given that a lot of this plan is, reliant on funding, what's the process that we continue looking for grants and sort of stuff like that, and how these different parts of it, come to fruition? Is that correct?
Through the chair, we're always, I suppose, assessing what grants are available. And obviously the one of the main principal components of this asset management plan is the water revenue infrastructure agreement, which obviously is reliant on third party as well. So we have actually met with that proponent to try to put it forward to, but obviously it may be out of their reach financially initially, so it might be installed. But we do look for funding. We did try a funding process under the RPP as well for stormwater management plans, but unfortunately we weren't successful, but we will continue to source grants.
And through Mayor Bailey, there's a yearly grant, Dave, that we apply for, specific to stormwater, so we will continue to do that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions, comment? Anyone wish to speak on this item? If not, we'll put that motion up. All those in favour? Against, that is carried. 10.5. The recommendation is the draft plant, equipment and light fleet asset management plan report be received. Council approve the draft S1V1 plant, equipment and light fleet asset management plan version 2 to be released for public consultation in accordance with Council's public consultation policy and develop engagement plan. And Council receive a further report to consider any feedback from the public consultation process and adopt the draft S1V1 plan, equipment and light fleet asset management plan and the adoption. Yeah, the adoption of. You happy with that?
Yeah.
Okay, have we got a mover? Councillor McGregor, thank you. Seconder, Councillor Davis, thank you. Councillor McGregor, do you wish to speak on this? No. Councillor Davis, no. Dave, do you want to add anything? You added a little bit for the audit committee.
Yes, through the chair, there was a couple of amendments that were made between Glenn and Clyde in regards to the figures within the audit committee. I suppose the basis of the revision of it, of the whole plan as a whole, is to, I think outside the square, look at how industry operate, how we can operate best, obviously with the resources we have. The components are looking at obviously bulk haulage, multi-combination use, or road trains to be specific, so that we can actually free up other prime movers and resources so that we can actually do better road maintenance, and then take the load off the construction gains when they actually do road patching. Other ideas within are also like the multi-use items of plant, like a mammoth, where we can use it as a loader, broom, and potentially as a tree cutter for our rural road network, so that we can optimise the item of the plant to try to work through the backlog of works that we actually have on maintenance, and be more specific about how we're actually engaging in our operations and being matching industry, because industry, the leaders, they do it through a competitive process, and we have to look outside the square to see how we're going to operate in the future.
Thank you. Any further questions or comments, or anyone wish to speak on this item? If not, we'll put that motion up. All those in favour? And against, that is carried. Thank you. 10.6. The recommendation is the Morgan Christmas Pageant Event Application Report be received. Approval be granted to enable the Morgan Community Pageant and Fete to be held in Morgan, and that the roads detailed below be closed to vehicle traffic other than vehicles associated with the pageant on Saturday the 6th of December, subject to general conditions applicable in Council's major event permit. Approval be granted to enable the Morgan Christmas Fete to be held at Council Riverfront Reserve adjacent to the VIC at Morgan on the same date. Pursuant, I'll take the point 4 as read. And point 5, and 6 is subject to the issue of the road closure order referred to in 4 above. Council or its agents and contractors will be authorised to install and remove or pause the installation and removal of necessary and appropriate traffic control devices to conduct this event. Council waiver the road application fee of $588 as the pageant is a council supported event. CO be authorised to make minor amendments to the road closure as required and provide authorisation as necessary. And council note the extent of traffic management expenditure for the event and request staff to liaise with the event organisers to identify opportunities to reduce the traffic management costs for future events. Do we have a mover for that? Thank you, councillor Davis, and a seconder. Councillor Myers, thank you. Councillor Davis, do you wish to speak on this?
Just that I know that the organisers have been trying to work for a while, trying to get those costs down with volunteers and stuff, so hopefully that can continue and we can make it less.
Thank you. Councillor Myers, do you wish to speak?
Just wondering, years ago, there was, courses run on the road management for volunteers. That's still available? I mean, in case somebody's interested, that's all I'm asking.
Through the chair, the work zone traffic management process has changed in the last probably 12 months. It was basically like, I could sit there for a day and get a refresher course. Now there's no refresher course, it's a 3-day long course. And unfortunately, because it's been harmonised right across Australia, there's a lot more in-depth process to go through. We did do a elected member briefing on it. Basically puts all the onus back onto either one or two people that actually do the traffic management. And if you start putting volunteers through that, a lot of them probably won't sit through it. There is the process of marshalling, but you still have to have a work zone traffic management certified person there on site to do anything associated with signage.
Okay.
Thanks, Dave. Any further questions, comments, feedback? No one wishes to speak. We'll put that motion up. All those in favour? Against, that is carried. 10.7. Again, I think I'll take this one as read. It's another big long one. There's nothing special at the end. It's our usual one. Do we have a mover? Thank you, councillor Schultz, and councillor Warhurst is seconding that. Councillor Schultz, do you wish to speak? No. Councillor Warhurst? No. Anybody else wish to speak or have any questions? If not, we will put that motion. All those in favour and against, that is carried. 11.1. The recommendation is that the bylaw number 8, Mid-Murray Council Miscellaneous Amendment Bylaw 2025 report on the council agenda be received in exercise of the powers contained in section 246 of the Local Government Act 1999, having satisfied the consultation requirements of the Act and having regard to the outcome of the consultation process, the National Competition Policy Report and a certificate of validity provided by the council's legal practitioner, the majority of council in the presence of at least 2/3 of its members hereby makes and passes bylaw number 8, Mid-Murray Council Miscellaneous Amendment Bylaw 2025, and that the Chief Executive Officer authorised to undertake all steps necessary to finalise the bylaw process and to give effect to the newly adopted amendment bylaw, including making any minor editorial or grammatical changes that may be necessary prior to publication of the amendment bylaw in the Gazette. Do we have a mover? Thank you, councillor Schultz. A seconder. Thank you, councillor Warhurst. Councillor Schultz, do you wish to speak on that? No. Councillor Warhurst? No. Anybody else wish to speak? Have any questions, comments, feedback? Councillor McGregor?
Just through the mayor, it's just in regard to the risk assessment, it's not high. And I read it correctly, it's only high if we don't agree to the amendments. Is that the way it reads?
Correct.
Yep, okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Any further questions, comments, feedback? Anyone wish to speak? If not, we'll put that motion up. All those in favour and against, that's unanimous. Thank you. 11.2. The recommendation is bylaw number 1, Mid-Murray Council Miscellaneous Amendment Bylaw 2026 report on the council agenda 18th of October, November 2025 be received, and the draft bylaw number 1, Mid-Murray Council Miscellaneous Amendment Bylaw 2026, be endorsed for public consultation in accordance with the Local Government Act 1999, Council's public consultation policy, and the developed communication plan. Do we have a mover? Thank you, Councillor Myers. Second. Thank you, Councillor Warhurst. Councillor Myers, do you wish to speak on this?
No, I'm fine.
Thank you, Councillor Warhurst. No, anybody else wish to speak? Any questions, comments, feedback? If not, we'll put that motion. All those in favour and against, that is carried. Thank you. 11.3, grant of easement. The recommendation is the grant of easement pieces 2 and 3 of DP 73238 North Rhine Road, Caton, CT 6002/572 report on the council agenda be received pursuant to section 44 of the Local Government Act 1999. Council authorises the CEO to execute the grant of easement and any associated documents for pieces 2 and 3 of DP 73238 North Rhine Road, Caton, as contained in the certificate of title volume 6002 folio 572, and the applicant must pay all legal costs associated with the grant of easement. Do we have a mover? Thank you, Councillor Schultz, and a seconder, Councillor Hannah. Thank you, Councillor Schultz. Do you wish to speak?
I do have a question. What will council's interest be in the land once the easement is created? I just couldn't understand that, but I'm not a planner.
Thank you. Many of us are thinking the same thing.
Through the mayor, because then it's, excuse me, it's for drainage purposes, we need to maintain it. So that's why we have that interest, even though it's not on council land.
No.
Councillor Hammond, would you wish to speak on this?
No,
No? Okay, Councillor McGregor.
Yeah, just a question in regards to, there again, our risk assessment is low. And granting the easement for, if we should went that way for, water, runoff that. What about the increase of a stormwater runoff with a development of this magnitude? Does that sort of pose a bigger risk with it through the easement at all?
Through the mayor, the intention of all land divisions is that we consider stormwater runoff, and as part of that, it's to try and ensure that it's equal to or predating the development. So part of the development in terms of the reserve, there is the detention basin that will capture most of the stormwater before it actually is released into the waterways.
Gary, any further questions?
I did have one. Now what was it? If this easement is granted by council, that doesn't actually mean that the planning will go ahead. That's got to be another process again.
Through the mayor, that's correct. So the planning application, land division application is still being assessed and will eventually be presented potentially to either the assessment panel or to the assessment manager for a decision. So this decision is independent of the decision under the PDI Act.
Thank you. Any further questions? I have one. You've said that council will end up having to maintain the easement. Does council need to consider the costs of that now, or will that be later when we take over?
It is a handball.
Go see, through the chair, I got a look.
He leant back not to catch it.
Basically, I suppose with all land divisions, the road network of stormwater and everything comes back to council at some stage. Obviously, we'll have to do an evaluation on how that has an effect on our resources. Generally, in the short term, it might only be street sweeping and spraying and whatever else. But over a period of time, when defects occur, then obviously there'll be a pickup of the requirements that we need to maintain. So there'll be something that we need to make a determination on. Similarly with the crossing, mountain waters and all these other land divisions that come on board, it just puts more demands on the resources we have. So that'll be a determination we need to make.
Yeah. But I guess you also get extra rates when properties are illegal. Any further questions, comment, feedback, or does the leader wish to speak? No? Anyone? No? Okay, we'll put that motion. All those in favour and against, that is carried. Thank you. 11.4. The recommendation is the draft 25 state public health plan council submission report on the council agenda be received. Council authorises CEO or his delegate to submit council's submission via the government's Your Say platform. Council authorises the CEO or his delegate to make any final amendments to the submission prior to the due date. We have a mover. Thank you, Councillor Davis. Councillor McGregor is seconding that. Do you wish to speak on that, Councillor Davis? No. Councillor McGregor, no. Anybody else wish to speak? Have any questions? Good report then. Well done. We will put that motion. All those in favour and against, that is carried. 12.1, appointment of Deputy Mayor. The recommendation is the appointment of Deputy Mayor report on the council agenda 18th of November 2025 be received. And there's a blank there, so we go to our nomination process. Does anybody wish to nominate?
Suspension.
Yes, if 2/3 of the room agreed for a 5-minute suspension to have a chat out of meeting procedure. Nod of heads if you agree.
Yep. Hands, just, yep, everyone.
Perfect. All right, go for it.
I just think, I know that we decided in 2022 that we would share this responsibility between the wards. And obviously we have 4 years and 3 wards. I'm just wondering whether we can possibly share the responsibility of a deputy mayor between all of us. If there's things that come up, one of us can be asked maybe to do that role in certain circumstances. I don't know how the room feels, but rather than nominate one person again from a ward.
As long as it doesn't involve planning.
Yeah,
Just
because
a
I know that we
comment
don't.
on that, council has made a decision to have a deputy mayor. And so that doesn't mean, and Laura is getting her interest piqued there. Doesn't mean that that can't change, but there is a motion that
But just above the recommendation, it says if council is of the view that it will not appoint a deputy mayor, a motion will need to be put amending council's resolution. So it can happen.
yes.
Just depends on the room. Anybody else wish to add to that?
So how, I think you sent an email out earlier in regards to your state government thing and the responsibilities of the deputy mayor may increase. I think it's very important because I look back in previous terms of council over 16 years. I was deputy mayor a couple of times, but I can honestly say with the CEO at the time and the mayor at the time, being deputy mayor actually meant nothing because there was never any involvement of the deputy mayor in anything. If people understand what I mean, whereas
Just stepping in if you need to.
this now, I think is a lot more important. But to answer Councillor Davis there, a lot of things were designed so you didn't have to step in. Like even the mayor's holidays were designed around, you know. If you understand what I mean.
Yeah. And look,
I think it's important role.
Especially if Simone is going in for, you know, more obligations.
I
and
think we
stuff.
should be factoring that in. It's
Don't reckon?
if the deputy mayor, but we do need to look at succession planning and things like that. And I guess that's what the deputy role position is to succession plan so that you can train and mentor. So yeah, my email was I really want to help train and mentor whoever takes that on, so that there is a fallback position more than what we've ever focused on. And I've done that with Councillor Barber over the last 12 months, and he has felt a little bit bad because there's certain times where he works, shift work and whatever, that he hasn't been able to help and support.
if I may make a comment through Mayor Bailey, from a governance perspective, it's good governance to have a deputy mayor if council makes that decision. It doesn't mean that other people can't support the deputy mayor or and the mayor. To your point, Councillor Davis, so I think it's a team effort, but it is about deputising someone to fulfil some roles if the mayor is not available for whatever reason, and that happens regardless of circumstance, you know, and has over the last 3 years. So, you know, my advice to the group would be it's good governance to have that. It also increases the demands on administration and other parts of the business if there isn't that person able to fulfill. But it doesn't mean that other people can't fulfill roles as well if the deputy mayor is not available. So that would just be my comment for consideration by the council.
And we have done that a bit with people. If Jeff couldn't, I've asked somebody else to. Councillor McGregor.
I'll just sort of think that, from the community's perspective, is having a person nominated is probably better for our community, rather than have, but, you know, I thought of all of us stepping in, and I would hope that we would do that in supporting each other, which I think we do, but I think it is probably important to have, you know, a person. That's just my thing.
Okay, our 5 minutes is up, so we'll go back into meeting procedure. Do we have a nomination for deputy mayor? Councillor McGregor.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to nominate Councillor Georgia Wells.
Georgia, do you accept that nomination? Yeah. Yes. Are there any further nominations for deputy mayor? No? If not, we will fill that recommendation to Councillor Warhurst. And can I have a mover of that? Would you like to move that? Councillor McGregor, do we have a seconder for that? Councillor Davis, thank you. Does anybody wish to speak on that item? Oh, actually.
What do I need to leave?
Councillor Warhurst is declaring a conflict of interest due to being nominated for that position. Okay, so now would anyone wish to speak?
And just Laura, all good?
Just freaking out. Well, if no one wishes to speak on that, we'll put that motion up. All those in favour and against, that is carried. Thank you. And if someone can.
Dave, if you
invite
get a-
Councillor Warhurst back into
please.
the room. Congratulations, Councillor Warhurst, the new deputy mayor from the Mid-Murray Council for the next year. And I do wish to thank Councillor Barber for his service over the last year. Like I said, we've pushed him to the brink, and he has stepped over and above. He's done some really great things and really enjoyed that role, seeing things like the monastery and extra things that he wouldn't have gone to before. So thank you, everyone. 12.2, 2024-25 annual report. The recommendation is the annual report will be received, the draft Mid-Murray Council annual report 24-25 be adopted, and a copy be prepared for the submission to the Local Government Grants Commission, the Parliamentary, State and National Libraries by 31st of December 2025, and Council accepts the annual report of the Murraylands and Riverland Local Government Association for inclusion in the Mid-Murray Council annual report 24-25, and the CEO be authorised to correct any errors of fact or make minor editorial amendments to the draft Mid-Murray Council annual report 24-25 if required, and arrange for the document to be finalised for publication. We have a mover for that. Councillor Schultz, thank you. Seconder Councillor Davis, thank you. Councillor Schultz, do you wish to speak?
No, but I did actually enjoy reading.
Excellent. Oh, I love it. Councillor Davis?
Yeah, great.
Okay. Anybody else wish to speak or have any questions on that? If not, we'll put that motion up. All those in favour and against, that is carried. Thank you. Thanks for your hard work.
I'm not sure Vicky and
The good
Carol
read.
would say that they enjoyed reading it. But we appreciate the work that Vicky and Carol and others within the team did to that contribution.
Yeah, I think
Contributed,
it's,
sorry, to the annual report.
it's certainly a lot better than it was when I first started, and it is enjoyable to read, and especially when we're kicking some goals as well. I guess that helps. 12.3. Okay. The recommendation is the revocation of community land classification. Various parcels report on the council agenda be received. Pursuant to section 194(2) of the Local Government Act, council endorses the proposal to revoke classification of the community land report. for formal public consultation process in accordance with public consultation policy, engagement plan, and where appropriate, guided by the Office of Local Government, Section 194, revocation of community land classification guidance paper, number 5, April 2022, to revoke the community land classification of land situated at, and I will take that as read. There's 5 properties at Young Husband, Sanderston, 1, 2, 3, 4 at Bow Hill, 2 more at Sanderston. At the conclusion of public consultation process conducted on the proposal to revoke classification of community land report, a report be submitted to council for its consideration of the outcome of the public consultation under section 194(2)(b) of the Local Government Act 1999 for the revocation of the community land classification of the whole land comprised. And again, the list is there. And that is all. Do we have a mover for that? Councillor Hannan, thank you. Do we have a seconder? Councillor McGregor, thank you. Councillor Hannan, do you wish to speak?
Yes, I do. And I have a few questions and things. Some I've already posed to Ben that he's answered by email. Thank you for that, Ben, for getting onto that yesterday for me. Grateful. Because we were talking just before about the easement of that property of regarding stormwater drainage and stuff. One of the parcels on here is what potentially is that a stormwater easement between on lot 79 Carngoban Place in Young Husband. There's a seasonal creek that runs through the property. And so with parcels that are sort of considered like that, I was wondering whether they're probably the right parcels to be looking at for remuneration after we just talked about maybe easements. And I don't know if Dave can answer that question in regards to whether when we have easements for drainage and stormwater, whether they are parcels that then can be reclassified for sale.
I can
Oh,
through
you can
there,
answer.
Bailey. I suppose there's certain parcels that may be of interest to the neighbours. So they might not be able to be built, or they've got an easement or a water course on there. And so that's why we've identified them for community consultation to receive some feedback on that, because as you rightly say, they may not be good for anything else, but there may be of some interest to stakeholders in close proximity.
Thank you.
Hopefully that answers your question.
That does.
Another question?
I did, but I should I wait for everyone else to have a go.
No,
and
you
then
can still continue question.
The only other question I had was in regards to obviously the stakeholder analysis on page 674 as in with the stakeholders community interest being ranked there, medium to high for community interest, and most other relevant stakeholder groups were ranked at either medium or high, except our First Nations interest was considered as a low interest. Which I spoke to that I thought must have been done in error, because they would have just the same interest as I would think, because of titles and lands, as the other members of our community. So I hope that could be corrected in the report or explained as to why.
Through me, Bailey, no, fair point, and we'll update the engagement plan.
Thank you. Councillor McGregor, you wish to speak on this item?
Yeah, just for the mayor. I think the community consultation or the public consultation will sort of show if there's some interest in some of those parcels of land that we're not aware of. And like we have sort of done before, is that we do, it's not all set in stone, a decision hasn't been made, so it is, we're consulted to get that information.
Thank you. And through you, Mayor Bailey, I'll probably just highlight as well the Bow Hill parcels. We may well receive significant feedback on that, but that's part of this process. As you've just said, Councillor McGregor is to receive that feedback. We have identified that they're potentially passive, but the community may disagree with that. As you would remember, we had a deputation previously on a reserve in Bow Hill when we undertook the last process. And so we have that noted in the engagement plan for targeted feedback for those areas. So that's part of the process. Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, I was going to add that on Councillor Barber's behalf, because I'm sure that he would have added that. I've certainly had people talk about those lots of land, and that's really great that we're putting it out to community consultation to get that back. And most people in this room would remember there was a block at Cambrai in our first branch, and we had really strong community feedback. We were able to take that off now, knowing what that means for the Cambrai community. So I think anyone watching from home, please just be aware that this is consultation, and this council is very open and to listening and, you know, changing decisions if need be, or planning differently, and yeah, changing route.
Remember, so just, and that is potential divestment. And, you know, that's probably one of the key things, and that's the wording is like that throughout the report. We've identified them as a potential option, and now we're doing the consultation.
Yep. Thank you. Any further questions, comments, or anyone wish to speak? If not, we'll put that motion up. All those in favour and against, that is carried. Thank you. 12.4, just a reminder, I have declared a general conflict, but I will state in the brain. The recommendation is the Northern Areas Council request for support for drought rates reduction, funding and rating of energy producing infrastructure report on the council agenda be received. Council writes to the Northern Areas Council in support of presenting a united position to the Minister of Local Government that the current rating exemption on energy generating infrastructure is inequitable and manifestly unfair to all other ratepayers when asset owning energy generation companies rely on council infrastructure, particularly road networks funded by others, and presenting a united position to the Local Government Association at their say on the importance or value of state funding to enable a 40% reduction in rates for farmers significantly impacted by drought. Do we have a mover? Councillor Schultz, thank you. And Councillor Davis is seconding that. Councillor Schultz, do you wish to speak?
And the more voices in favour of this, the better.
Thank you. Councillor Davis. Agree. Anybody else wish to speak or have any questions? Councillor McGregor.
Yeah, I agree. It's really good that it's been presented. It's more a general sort of thing. We seem to be getting more from the local area councils to council directly, which is not a bad thing because we sort of get things, but you know, is there what's happening? Well, I know we've identified some sort of things within local government, but you know, yeah, just should we be concerned?
I'm sorry, through Mayor Bailey, I'm not sure exactly what your point is.
It's just that we've got this one, we got an email from one of the councils in Adelaide for the road, like the bypass. There's another one that we got one in our briefing as well. So it just seems to, is it just coincidental that we're getting that they want traction more going to the individual councils rather than presenting to asking local government association to come out to us?
Yes, each of them would have to be a question to each council. I guess councils feel like they have a strong voice, so if they're not getting them, I guess they go a different way, and that may be what's happening. Don't know. Yeah.
Maybe we could use it.
Possibly.
Okay, thanks.
Any further questions, Councillor Waterhurst?
I have two. Firstly, well, what does the 40% reduction mean to Mid-Murray Live in the rate with the drought? With the drought specifically.
As in dollar wise?
Yeah, in dollar wise, is it scary for us or? And my only other point that I'd like to make really quickly before you answer that is what's the definition of significantly? So it says that reduction in rates for farmers significantly impacted by the drought. How are they monitoring what significantly means? Like, are we even eligible for that? That's what I want to seek a little bit of clarification on in the return letter. That's all.
Yeah, and I guess it doesn't say importance value of 100% state funding. The state might go, hey, we'll give you 10% and you do the other 30%.
Yeah.
It is a bit nerve wracking, I guess.
So question without notice. So if I'm interpreting the question correctly, Councillor Warhurst, is what would a 40% reduction on rates for primary production be in our area? And do you need to take on notice?
Just very, very roughly.
Gonna get out his calculator and do it now.
And not knowing how many of them are significantly impacted.
Yeah.
I think last time we looked, it was about
25 to 30% were from reduction, and obviously that changes with land values. So you're looking at probably about like all of that on an annual basis, like $5.1 million of general rates. And then you're saying a certain proportion of them would get a reduction of 40%.
Yeah.
And that probably is what proportion would that be?
Yeah, and how's it been quantified?
Yeah.
So that'd be
Where's that
40% of that
40%?
for 5 million would be $2 million.
Yes.
But then that would only need to be
So
for
if it was
those that are
50%
significantly
of them,
impacted.
it would be $1 million.
Yeah.
Maybe, and through you, Mayor Bailey, and on reflection of Councillor McGregor's point, is that we're getting individual councils coming to us, or to all councils, rather than potentially united position on this through the LGA. Which obviously they have done some work on drought and they've done some work on energy producing, but there's also certain councils that feel like there's some more work to be done in that space.
Mhm.
And I guess the advantage of going through the LGA is it goes to AGM with a full recommendation with, wordsmith words and all the detail behind it as to what it would mean to state government and to councils that are putting this up.
And to council has, so significant doesn't have a definition.
I just found it interesting.
I mean, can we give them in principle support and ask a few questions?
Laura, do you have any views on this?
No. Yeah, so look through Mayor Bailey. The report is, we've been, a request has come whether we support this or whether we have some concerns, whether we feel like there's another avenue for this. Obviously there's some questions, and we've obviously presented the information that has been presented to us by Northern Areas. So you could lay on the table whilst further information is obtained. If council feels like they don't have all of the information on the specific points of what Northern Areas are asking, versus acknowledging their correspondence and not supporting it, or saying that this should be the LGA's role rather than individual councils. That's probably the options.
Councillor Hammond?
Just by the tone of it, it feels like they're just wanting to get as many of regional councils together to have a strong presence when they do present to the LGA and the government minister, to be like, we are one of those other councils that have been affected by the drought, and our farmers have been, severely affected, depending or significantly impacted. And it should be a matter of, I guess, a rating system of how they would then do that once it gets approached to the LGA. And I think hopefully then you'd think that the LGA and the minister would then come up with some kind of construct around what that would look like, of how it would be rated if you were significantly impacted.
Through Mayor Bailey, could I propose, if the concept supported, which we've obviously already acknowledged, because we've worked on radiant energy and we've worked on drought rather than specific wording. Maybe that's something that council would be comfortable in doing, which would involve council rights to the Northern Areas Council acknowledging the importance of these issues rather than acknowledging the specific points they've requested. That's something for council to consider.
Something or.
How about we suspend for 5 minutes? So
yeah,
we're not in
yeah.
meeting,
Yeah.
so just nod of heads if you're happy
Yeah.
to suspend for 5 minutes. Yes, now you can go.
I just think, as part of the letter, that we should make the Northern Areas Council aware of what of the measures we're doing for drought affected farmers and that, so I think, think about, we should do the same.
They're two very separate issues. The energy rating of stuff, like they're two very, they've lumped them together in one of two things they care passionately about, but the drought and our farmers are a very separate issue to our energy ratings of these non-rateable properties. So I do think if they are going to be presented to the LGA or the ministers.
Well, they're going to different places. So
Yeah, they are.
one's going to local government.
The minister
one's
local.
going to the local.
Yeah, they're not,
councils,
okay, right,
Yeah.
this, it does, I didn't have it, right. Yeah.
And I support it. I think it's great. I really do. But yeah, just those finer details would be interesting to know what they mean, I guess. in my point of view.
Mm.
But
So a suggestion could be that we write to Northern Areas acknowledging their correspondence, and say that we feel that this should be, a united front potentially.
Well, that's what they're asking for. Presenting a united position.
yeah,
But we're not supporting necessarily the specific,
Yeah,
the specifics. I
Mm.
think that's what people are concerned about.
It's the wording,
Yeah.
without having the detail behind the wording.
However, we don't, we're not in a position to support the specific request.
I want to support it.
Yeah,
I want to
yeah,
support it.
yeah. Just with a little bit more.
Better wording.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Perhaps the intent of the,
Mhm.
of the.
The council writes to Northern Areas Council acknowledging
Their
their
correspondence.
correspondence and the importance of these issues and the importance and intent of these
Yeah,
issues.
Yeah, of the proposal.
But,
Yeah, however, there's got to be
Yeah.
however.
however, concerned about
But
the wording and the lack of detail as to what this would mean,
impact on council
impact,
revenue.
how this
Yeah.
would impact council.
and if the intent of their letter is that the state government give us that 40% to support it.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there are.
So there's-
But
Yeah.
it's just not really clear.
Yeah.
Maybe we could suggest a workshop between any councils that agree to.
Carol?
Council writes to Northern Areas Council acknowledging their correspondence and the importance and intent of these issues. Or actually, and support the importance
Yeah.
and intent of these issues, however, yeah,
And see on the
oh
end.
yes, intent, yeah. And support the importance and intent. Of these issues, however. Council
We
believe,
would require further
Yeah,
detail
council.
before.
council require further detail and suggest a workshop be held with interested councils.
Which is what the OGA's role is, right?
Yeah. These issues.
Regional councils, impacted councils.
Well, not even impact, because the other councils should be involved too, because then you have a united front. Suggest a workshop be held with interested councils on these issues to determine,
Course of action.
yeah, a united course of action.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do we need to say the issues? Because obviously they're down below, we're probably going to get rid of that, or just write the word.
Raised in your correspondence.
That's it, it's been raised in the
Yeah.
letter.
How long have we got?
One more. And so, yeah, then we'd delete those two. So I'll just read that again. Council writes to the Northern Areas Council acknowledging their correspondence and support the importance and intent of these issues. However, council requires further details and suggest a workshop be held with interested councils on these issues to determine a united course of action raised in their correspondence. Raised in the correspondence.
Your,
Which you raised in your correspondence, no?
Course
Because
of
we're
action
writing,
to something raised in the.
Raised in the correspondence, because we're
Received.
acknowledging, yeah, received. Oh, yeah, yeah, that's right, Northern Areas Council's correspondence.
Yep.
All right, we're out of our 5 minutes, so we'll go back into meeting procedure.
fix that.
Councillor Schultz,
No worries.
you're happy with that? Councillor Davis, you're happy with that? Laura, are you happy with that? There's a nod, excellent. Anybody else who hasn't spoken wish to speak on that? If not, councillor Schultz, do you wish to close? Okay. If nobody else has any questions, we'll put that. We will put that motion. All those in favour and against, so it's carried. Thank you. 12.5, Chief Executive Officer's monthly report be received. We have a mover. Thank you, Councillor Myers. Thank you, Councillor Warhurst. We were worried who would move that without Councillor Farm here. Councillor Myers, do you wish to speak?
On behalf of Jack. I actually have a question, or what's happening with the Truro freight route? I'll see you at a couple of.
Good question.
Thank you, Councillor Myers, through Mayor Bailey. So the Director of Infrastructure Services and Development Community and I had a meeting with their engagement team to discuss the greater, well, the high productivity vehicle network, which the Greater Adelaide Freight Bypass route, I'm getting the wrong terminology, is part of, as well as the Swanport Bridge, as well as the Truro bypass slash freight route. And they are undertaking business cases on each of those three components as part of the discussion on where to from here. There's obviously still a funding issue with the federal government. The federal government is offering 50-50 and previously it's been 80-20. But there's obviously some groundswell of work being undertaken in that. As part of that, there was also a meeting that Dave and I attended, which is called a Gate 2 assessment, which is an independent assessment of the projects to make sure that they are projects of importance and that they should be going ahead. So clearly there's some movement in this, but I can't tell you timelines, can't tell you what are priorities. Obviously there's some elections in coming up, Councillor Myers, so yeah, but we strongly advocate for both the freight bypass and the Truro bypass, because we think they're so significantly important for our communities from a safety perspective. We're here today, you can hear the transport going past, so not only for Sedan and Cambrai, but also Truro. So we will strongly advocate and continue to do that. Gary and Dave, do you want to add anything else to those meetings?
The key thing is they want to do a whole host of community engagement. So part of going to try and tie into what engagement council might be doing, given that we've got our tourism precinct planning project. So the opportunity to tie in with our engagement there.
So anything mentioned about the $1 million for Truro?
You just took the words out of my mouth, Councillor Myers. So we absolutely reiterated that to the department, that it was a commitment under the previous funding, and our expectation is that that would be the case moving forward, and it's more expensive now than it was 3 years ago or 2 years ago, so we would be looking for potentially some more than $1 million, which was noted.
Okay.
Thank you. Councillor Warhurst, do you wish to speak on that answer? Councillor Hammond.
I just have a question here for you as well, Ben. That you met with the Luke Jensen from Sky Management at the Manor Caravan Park. And I was wondering just a little bit about that meeting. And a couple of months ago, I gave you a question on notice or without notice, I think that was going to be followed up about the trees. And I thought maybe that might have been discussed at that meeting with them that day.
Through Mayor Bailey, it was. So yes, a response was provided to that question. It was part of their broader conversations on what they're looking to do moving forward. We and a number of the staff that were there to the site visit, they showed us the trees that have been planted as a result of the original development. Further report will come back to council to outline what they achieved and potentially what they're looking to do moving forward.
Okay.
Well,
Thank you. Any further questions, comments, discussion? If not, we'll put that motion up. All those in favour and against, that is carried. 12.6. Motion action list report on the council agenda be received. We have a mover. Councillor Davis, thank you. Councillor Walhurst, thank you. Councillor Davis, no. Councillor Walhurst, no. Does anybody else wish to speak? Have any questions, comments, feedback? If not, we'll put that motion up. All those in favour and against, carried. Ben was putting up in favour then.
Getting rid of the flyer.
14.1, the recommendation is the minutes of the Mid-Murray Council Assessment Panel meeting held on the 27th of October report on the council agenda be received and the minutes be received. Do we have a mover? Councillor McGregor, thank you. Seconder. Councillor Hammond, thank you. Do you wish to speak? Councillor McGregor? No. Councillor Hammond? Anybody else wish to speak? Any questions, feedback? If not, we'll put that motion up. All those in favour and against, that is carried. 14.2, the minutes of the Strategic Growth and Economic Activation Committee meeting held on the 18th of November be received and the minutes be received, or the report be received and the minutes be received. Have we got a mover? Thank you, Councillor Davis and Councillor Hammond. Did you second that one? Thank you. Do you wish to speak? No. Do you wish to speak? Anybody else wish to speak? Questions, comments, feedback? If not, we'll put that motion up. All those in favour and against, that is carried. 14.3, the recommendation is a summary of the Audit and Risk Committee meeting report on the council agenda be received and the minutes be received. Do we have a mover? Councillor McGregor, thank you. And a seconder, Councillor Schultz, thank you. Do you wish to speak? Councillor McGregor, Councillor Schultz. Anybody else wish to speak? Have questions, comments or feedback? If not, we'll put that motion up. All those in favour? Against, that is carried. 15.1, the Mayor's monthly report on the council agenda be received. We have a mover. Thank you, Councillor Davis, Councillor Warhurst. Anyone wish to speak on that? Anyone have any questions? If not, we'll put that motion up. All those in favour? Against, that is carried. 16.1, the elected members' monthly report on the council agenda be received. Do we have a mover? Councillor Myers, Councillor McGregor is seconding that. Councillor Myers, do you wish to speak? No. Councillor McGregor? No. Councillor Hammond?
I just want to put an apology to the team because obviously things have been going on with my dad and all the bits. And I'm back here today having read the agenda and done all the things. But December, you're going to get a very exciting report for me that's going to be surmising all the amazing things I've done over the last few months. And I'm sorry that it's not there today.
Thank you. Yes, Councillor Schultz.
I think AI must be smarter than I think it is, because there's an extra item on my report that I didn't put in there.
Oh, is there?
AI. Can they get us to do the
I'm being
reports?
tongue-in-cheek.
You forgot you did something and someone did it for you. Is that right?
Yeah, I never usually put the council meeting
Ah.
and briefing sessions in there, but it appears.
But you
like,
come
oh,
to each one. There you go. No, we've got good AI and it's not artificial at all.
It's just intelligent.
Very
Carol.
intelligent.
Or Tracy.
I
Or-
was like, wasn't me?
But Councillor Schultz, I did want to make comment of the inaugural Caton Community Association committee meeting that you have on your report. It's a very good news story out there where they had 3 different community associations, the community worked together to get it into one because it was getting to the point where, well, obviously everyone was on the same committee anyway, or they weren't able to fill committee positions. And I just think it's great to see such a forward focused community doing great things and making less work and better outcomes.
Maybe some other towns should.
Let's
Follow
hope.
suit.
Let's hope. Yeah, I certainly have told a few towns about it where they've been concerned about volunteer numbers. Any further questions, comments, feedback? Councillor McGregor?
Yeah, just in lieu of councillor Tosh not being here, she had the Swan Reach Observatory open, but she was sick for that, so she would probably say take that on.
Perfect, thank you. Yes, she did not attend that. Any further questions, comments? If not, we'll put that motion up. All those in favour and against, that is carried. Motions with notice are nil. Questions with notice are nil. Questions without notice. With any questions without notice of a strategic nature? No. Wow. We have confidential reports now. I might just
Yeah.
suggest a 5-minute
5-minute break.
break, just so that we can say hello to the room and then come back at 11:05 for the
Yeah.
confidential report.
Probably let Laura go.
And Laura can go. Thank you very much, Laura, for sitting in and listening to our council meeting. You must miss us.
I do, thank you.
Thanks, Laura. Cheers.
See ya.
20.1 is a confidential item. CEO and the principal HR consultant will stay in the room. And we will add Carol and everyone else will leave. Have we got someone to move that motion? Councillor Hammond, Councillor Davis, thank you. Anyone wish to speak on that? No, we'll put that motion up. All those in favour? And again, that is carried. Thank you. Thank you very much. Next meeting to be held at Canberra Council Chambers, Main Street, Canberra at 9:30 a.m. on the 16th of December. I declare the meeting closed at 11:25 a.m. Thanks everyone for your attendance.